Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be my girlfriend's guy friend. So I've got an email from a guy. He's been following me, I don't think probably for too long. All he says is he's read 3% Man 4 times, and he's been with his new girlfriend about 4 months now. And he says she's the most loyal girlfriend he's ever had. Keep in mind, he's only been with her for 4 months. Remember, people can hide who they are for about the first 90 days of a relationship. So you can see there's a little bit of this guy projecting his fantasy onto this girl and looking at everything through rose-colored glasses. However, she has a male friend who she used to date and hook up with, or she had a fling with, and then it looks like she later friend zoned this guy and he stuck around. They talk quite often, and she does get together with him in person. And so this guy who wrote the email obviously doesn't feel too good about that because it's not some like random dude. This is a guy she used to date and sleep with and who still talk because they supposedly have a strong connection. So he's asking, what should I do in this particular case? So I got a quote that I wrote, and then we'll go through this particular email. And the quote says, a woman who has male friends they used to date and sleep with, but later put into friend zone, are entertaining beta male orbiters who still desire to date and sleep with them again and are just waiting for the right opportunity to get another chance with her. Loyal and faithful people who respect their new lovers will only get together with their exes who are now just friends when their new partners are there. Women who are selfish, disloyal, insecure, and don't respect their current partners or relationships think it's okay to talk to and hang out with these exes alone on a frequent basis. So the key here is this is something that goes on frequently. It's not an occasional, they get together for lunch or whatever, whenever the person's in town. It's like they're constantly talking on the phone, and when they're in town, they get together, obviously without the new boyfriend. So the reality is, if you think of it from a guy's perspective, and you have several, because I have this experience many times over the course of my life, is that I have good relationships with girlfriends that I no longer date or sleep with, especially when I've been in new exclusive monogamous relationships with different women. And anytime we got together, just out of respect for my new girlfriend, if I'm getting together with an ex and maybe her new boyfriend or significant other, we're doing a double date. I'm not hanging out with her by herself when my girlfriend's not around and this other girl's new boyfriend is not around. That's common sense. It's a sign of respect because the reality is there was an intimate relationship there at one point. And what oftentimes happens is because there's so many weak men in society that in rejection breeds obsession, that the guys that don't know any better, guys that aren't familiar with my work, they're hoping to get another chance with this girl. So they think sticking around in friend zone, when she breaks up with that guy, finally I'll get another chance with her. That's the only real reason these dudes stick around like that, especially if they're talking constantly and they're getting together in person constantly. I can understand if maybe once or twice a year they talk on the phone to catch up, that's not a big deal. But when it's like frequent on a weekly basis, they talk a couple times a week, then I would be looking at that and wonder, well, if your relationship is so great with your new boyfriend, why are you talking with an ex-boyfriend as much on the phone as you probably are talking to your current boyfriend on the phone? That would tell me that the new boyfriend is not meeting her needs and probably is part of her Frankenstein boyfriend project. Because a lot of women settle for guys and marry guys that they're not in love with, and the guys have absolutely no idea. That's why it's essential if you read 3% Man that you understand it, because you'll be able to tell when a woman is in love and when she's not based upon her actions. And there are specific things that women do when they are in love. There are specific things that they say when they're in love. And obviously 3% Man goes over that. And that's the thing that you're not going to get from the guys in the red pill community that just complain about women and single moms and talk about how horrible they are. They don't have any techniques. They don't have any strategies. They got nothing that's going to help you with that. They just think, well, if you get yourself a virgin, then magically she'll just be loyal to you, just because. Anyways, I digress. Let's go through his email. He says, "Hi, Corey. I hope you're doing well. Your material has transformed my life in numerous ways. I'm just going through something with my girlfriend that is a little unusual to me, and I could definitely use your help. I've read your book 4 times so far and will continue to reread it over time. I would say I am quite familiar with the fundamentals at this point in my life. I would say if you've only read the book 4 times, you are bullshitting yourself. You are absolutely not familiar with the fundamentals. This is the delusion that a lot of guys get in because they're like, hey, I got a girlfriend now. Everything's going great between us. She's just amazing. I read your book 4 times. I got these fundamentals. I'm different. I'm special. I don't need to read this book 10 to 15 times. Keep in mind, a human being is going to memorize or learn something about 8 to 10% of it each time they go through it. So if you've been through my book 4 times, you maybe have committed to memory 25, 30% of the material. So there's still 75% of it that you don't have down. I've been doing this a long time. I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of phone sessions over the years. And guys that have this attitude like you do, that you got it all down and you know all the fundamentals, are the guys that make the biggest fuck-ups. So I'm hoping to shake you to wake you up. He says, I've applied what you teach over the last year and I've gotten nothing but positive results. From all the women that I have been having fun with, I found a real keeper. You don't know what you don't know. We have been exclusive for 4 months. You don't know. You really don't know. People can hide who they are for 90 days, dude. And depending on how well you applied the fundamentals is going to determine how much time you spent together and whether, because it might be extended. Maybe I don't know how much time you spent together or how much time you spent dating before you became exclusive. I've been playing the field in the past, but this one just knocks my socks off. She's been the most loyal girlfriend that I have ever had. You've been together 4 months, dude. You're still in the honeymoon phase. You're still in La La Land. You're projecting your fantasy of what you want out of this girl. And there's some red flags, especially around this guy here. And you're going, oh, this is fine. This is fine. It'll be okay. She tells me everything, which I am thankful for. Well, that's a good sign that she does tell you everything. Because if she doesn't trust you or is worried what you're going to think, she'll keep it to herself. She has many guy friends. But that does not bother me since I believe that I am a valuable catch for her. See, that's kind of delusional. And again, this is why you read the book 10 to 15 times. Because I used to think like that once. There were some characteristics in a girlfriend, and I ignored how we met. She was actually hanging out with, he was an ex-boyfriend at the time, but they were still basically friends with benefits. But they were just friends. That's what she told me initially. But I later found out several months later that when we first met, they were still actually sleeping together. And me, in my youthful ignorance, thought, I'm such a good dude. This will never happen to me. She's going to see what a great dude I am. She would never do anything like that to me. He says, one of her close guy friends is coming back to town after being away for some time. The other day, she told me something important about him. She wanted to tell me everything because I will likely be meeting him at a friend gathering soon. Well, that's great if you're going to be there and she's going to be there and other people are going to be there. But if it's just her and this dude meeting out together, having drinks, it's like that's not appropriate. Those are the actions that doesn't value loyalty and monogamy. And all you have to do is flip it around and go, how would you feel if I was hanging out on a frequent basis and talking all the time to an ex-girlfriend that I used to hook up and sleep with and who still wants to sleep with me? And I was doing this behind your back or when you weren't there. She ain't going to feel comfortable with that. I don't care what she says. She told me that when she and this guy first met, they became friends mainly because the guy had a girlfriend and was taken. When the guy broke up with his girlfriend, they tried sleeping together and being more than just friends. But it never worked out after a few weeks. So more than likely, she friend-zoned him because he was too much of a pussy. And therefore, he stuck around hoping he was going to get another chance. Thinking if I'm just super nice to her, eventually I'll get another shot. My girlfriend told me that they were not good together romantically and the guy would be a crappy boyfriend, probably because he's a bitch. But she likes the attention and validation, obviously. She told me that the fling didn't work out at all, so they decided to go back to just being friends. They decided. Sure. I would say it was her. She decided to put him in friend zone. Apparently, they both made the mature decision that they were better off being friends. I would say, again, it was probably all her. And he just went along with it because, again, he's a spineless pussy. And they would still continue seeing each other as friends since they still have a strong connection. Strong connection. How would you feel about that? Your girlfriend or your wife hanging out with a guy on a frequent basis and talking all the time because they have a strong connection. Well, obviously, your connection to her is not as strong because if you were fulfilling all of her needs, her wants, desires, and you're making her feel heard and understood, she's never going to want to hang out with this guy unless you're there because she's not going to want to do anything to screw up your relationship or have the potential to screw up your relationship or have the potential for something just to look like it's inappropriate. My girlfriend talks to this guy often and they spend some time together as friends. So who's calling who? Is this dude reaching out to her all the time? How much is she reaching out to him? If he's reaching out to her all the time, that means he's hoping to steal her away from you. That's what's really going on. And I would tactfully ask these questions. It's like, so like what percentage, like when you're talking or she brings them up next time, it's like, what percentage would you say this guy is contacting you first versus you reaching out to him first? See what she says. And then if she's reaching out to this guy a lot or a high percentage, what is in their friendship or their conversations, or does she need his opinion on that she doesn't feel comfortable enough coming to you? Because if you're her rock and her mountain, she's going to be coming to you, her number one. I understand that I can't control what my girlfriend does, and I must love in such a way to make her feel free. Yeah, you want to just see what she does with this situation, because this is the perfect type of setup for you to just kind of hang back and let her believe that you trust her completely to see if she slips up. Because this is a lot of red flags here. This is not a normal situation. And more than likely, she friend-zoned him. And that's why he stuck around. If he'd have friend-zoned her and wasn't interested, he would have moved on. But the fact that he stuck around all this time, he still wants another chance. If I was at Las Vegas, I'd be betting. I'd be putting my money on that. I just want, and women oftentimes will, the guy will be like, oh yeah, I'm fine being friends. And they're like, they believe that. But the reality is the dude is still calling and texting all the time. It's like, no, he wants another chance. He's like, just wanted to hear your insight on how you would deal with this situation and what you would do if you were to meet this guy in person. I'd meet him in person. Go hang out with your other friends in the group there when you get to your get together and just watch her and him interact. Is she touching his arm? Is she playing with her hair? Is she doing all the things that show signs of attraction like my book talks about? Then you'd have something to be concerned about. Is he touching her? Is she bumping into that guy? It's like, watch their interactions out of the corner of your eye. To the point where she doesn't know you're looking, but you're going to kind of pay attention or be in a way where you can just kind of observe. Because again, you want to be Sherlock Holmes. You don't know what you don't know. So how does she behave around him when she thinks that you're not paying attention? That's what you want to do. You want to make her feel totally safe and totally comfortable that you're not worried or upset in any way or concerned that something might be going on. You just want to be an observer. And so if you notice her touching his arm and standing too close and laughing at everything he says, then that's obviously a conversation you need to have afterwards, not in front of everybody. Do you think it is reasonable that my girlfriend continues to hang around with this guy? Only if you're there. Out of respect to you and your relationship, she's going to want you there. She's going to want you there because think about it from this perspective. Remember group dates? We talk about group dates a lot. And women will have other people there, friends or girlfriends there, as the cock blockers to prevent any kind of seduction from happening. And out of respect to you and your relationship, she's going to want to have other people there as well and not be just her and him. Because again, all you have to do is ask her, how would you feel that if I had 3 of my ex-girlfriends who I used to sleep with are calling and texting me all the time and want to hang out with me one-on-one and have drinks? And out of these 3 girlfriends, maybe 1 or 2 a week I get together and have drinks and you're not there and I never tell you what we talk about. How would you feel about that? She wouldn't like it. Do you think it is reasonable that my girlfriend continues to hang around with this guy? Again, like I said, only if you're there in person. That somebody that values loyalty, monogamy, and who thinks the world of you, a woman who admires you, who respects you, who looks up to you, is not going to want to do anything to fuck that up. And so therefore, if this guy wants to hang out in person, it's like, oh, let me see what if my boyfriend's available. And if he asks her to hang out in person, just her and him, she's going to say that wouldn't be appropriate because I have a boyfriend now and I wouldn't want him to think anything potentially was going on between us. Because it's nice that she fully disclosed that they used to sleep together. But at the same token, if she wants you to be 100% certain that she's loyal and faithful to you, she's going to make sure 100% that anytime she's around this guy, that you're there. And then even when she hangs out with this guy, and say she's talking to him, like, oh, who was that? Oh, that was Bob. Oh, yeah, what's up with Bob? Oh, blah, 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 blah. And she tells you what was going on. If she doesn't tell you what Bob had to say after they just spent 2 hours talking on the phone, then things would be a little suspect. So again, you got to look at her actions and what she does, not what she says. So if you got a question or challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.